The quarterback battle in Cleveland just got a lot more interesting, and the timing could not be worse for one man in that QB room. Preseason is right around the corner, and while most people assumed Deshaun Watson would walk into the year as the unquestioned starter, that assumption is falling apart in real time. Shedeur Sanders is not just competing, he's making noise, and now former players and respected voices around the Browns are saying the quiet part out loud. This might be the last real chance Deshaun Watson ever gets. That sentiment came through loud and clear from former NFL defensive back Dustin Fox during a recent appearance on a Cleveland sports show. His message was blunt. If Watson cannot separate himself from two players who weren't even high draft picks, one of them a second-year guy and the other a rookie, then there's a real question about whether his career in the league is even sustainable going forward. Fox didn't stop there either. He raised the harder question that a lot of Browns fans have been avoiding. Even in the scenario where Watson wins the job outright, if he plays average football, would any team actually want to hand him a contract next offseason? That's the brutal reality Watson is stepping into, and the numbers back up every bit of that skepticism. Since Watson arrived in Cleveland back in 2022, he has not completed a single full, healthy season. The list of setbacks reads like a nightmare stretch for any starting quarterback. It started with allegations that led to an 11-game suspension in his first year with the team. Then came a season-ending shoulder surgery the following year. Add those together, and Watson played just 12 total games across his first 2 seasons in a Browns uniform. That's barely more than one healthy season crammed into 2 years of football. Then 2024 happened. Watson was 7 starts into the season when a matchup against the Bengals ended in the worst possible way, an Achilles tear that shut his year down early. He hasn't taken an NFL snap since. To make matters even more discouraging, the 2025 season was wiped out entirely after that same Achilles tendon was re-injured during his recovery process. 2 Achilles setbacks on the same leg. For a quarterback already fighting to hold onto QB1, that kind of injury history is about as alarming as it gets. But here's the thing. Watson isn't sitting back and letting the narrative write itself. Reports out of Cleveland indicate he's been putting in serious work at the team's training facility in Berea, grinding through sessions with private therapists and personal performance coaches, all in an effort to arrive at training camp in the best shape possible. At 6'3" and 223 pounds, the physical tools have never been the issue. The question has always been whether his body will hold up long enough for those tools to matter. Whether that off-season investment translates into an actual competitive edge once padded practices start is the story everyone in Cleveland will be watching closely. Meanwhile, on the other side of this quarterback competition, Shedeur Sanders isn't treating this like a formality either. He's been putting in real work of his own throughout the off-season, and it showed immediately once minicamp opened. On the very first day of mandatory minicamp, Sanders was airing the ball out on deep shots, connecting with wide receivers Denzel Boston and Isaiah Bond for touchdowns. That's not a small detail. It's a direct signal that the arm strength and accuracy that got him a Pro Bowl selection as a rookie have not gone anywhere. And that rookie season deserves a closer look, because it wasn't just promising, it was genuinely productive given the circumstances. Sanders started 7 of the 8 games he appeared in during 2025, throwing for 1,400 yards and 7 touchdowns. Under his direction, the Browns went 3-4, which, for a rookie thrown into the fire, is a respectable stretch of football. It's exactly the kind of sample size that makes an organization start asking hard questions about who should really be under center going forward. So where does that leave Cleveland? The front office now has a genuine decision to make, and it's not as simple as picking the more experienced name. There's a real scenario on the table where the Browns hand Sanders the reins for a full season, not necessarily because Watson has been outplayed in camp, but simply to get a clearer, longer look at what they actually have heading into the next draft cycle. Unless Watson comes out of this offseason program and delivers something undeniable, something that erases the injury history and silences the doubters, that path becomes more and more likely. This is shaping up to be one of the most consequential quarterback competitions in the league heading into camp. On one side, you've got a former number 1 overall pick fighting to prove his body can still hold up, carrying the weight of 3 seasons worth of setbacks. On the other, a confident young passer who's already shown flashes of exactly what a franchise quarterback looks like, with nothing to lose and everything to gain. Training camp and preseason games are going to tell the story that off-season headlines simply can't. Who wins the job, and more importantly, who keeps it once the games start counting for real, is still very much up in the air. One thing is clear though. For Deshaun Watson, the margin for error has never been thinner. Every rep in camp, every preseason snap, every decision on that field is going to be scrutinized like never before. Because if Fox and other voices around this team are right, this genuinely could be his final opportunity to prove he still belongs as a starting quarterback in this league. Make sure you're subscribed, because as soon as preseason kicks off, we'll be breaking down every single rep of this quarterback battle as it unfolds.